Operation Rage, Germany, turn 5. It's Panzer George. So first of all, we have 66 IPCs. We had to spend 6 for production, and for some reason our scientists didn't come through, so we don't have our tech. So we're scouring the country for scientists that are in hiding. Doesn't matter what the religious persuasion, we need you. So full amnesty declared in Germany for our tech for next turn. So for those 66 IPCs, we're going to be buying 2 bombers, 2 tanks, 6 infantry, and 2 artillery, which makes a total of 66 IPCs. We have a number of attacks to declare. The first one we're going to do is we're going to be moving 1 infantry into northern Iran. We want to cut off that pipeline. We don't like reinforcements coming to Russia on that route, so we're going to do that first. And just this is a non-combat move, but I'm going to be moving these guys into Transjordan, just so I don't forget. So let's start on the Eastern Front. So what we're going to do is we have a whole bunch of units in here. So and we're also declaring a blitzkrieg in the city of Smolensk. So that means if I destroy this unit, I can send units into Archangel as well as into Bryansk. So that's what we're going to be doing. So to destroy that infantry unit, we're going to be sending in 5 tanks. So let me just break this down. Give me a second. So we're sending in 5 tanks to take care of that. And then assuming that is successful, we're going to be sending in 2 tanks to Bryansk. And we're also going to be sending 1 tank. Actually, we don't need this blitzkrieg here. We can actually go through the Pripyat marshes and into Bryansk. Accompanying those tanks are going to be some mech infantry. So we're sending in a mech infantry into Archangel. We're sending in a mech infantry into Bryansk. We're actually sending in 2 mech infantry into Archangel. We want to make sure we get this. We don't like this Lend-Lease going in there. As well, we're sending a couple of infantry in here just to soak up any odds in Smolensk. We're sending in a couple of infantry. All this is coming from Belarus. I'm sure you've figured that out. 2 infantry into Leningrad. And I think that's it for the blitzkrieg. Okay, so now we're going to be from the Pripyat marshes. We're going to be sending in this guy into Bryansk. Yes, from the Pripyat marshes. And then we're going to be sending in these 3 infantry from eastern Poland into western Ukraine. We're going to send in 1 mechanized infantry from Belarus into there as well. And then we're going to be attacking Ukraine down here. So we're going to be sending in this artillery and these 2 infantry into Ukraine. Now we're going to be sending in our Air Force. So to attack Leningrad, we're going to be sending in 3 tactical bombers. We're going to be going after your artillery. We're also from Finland. We're going to be sending in a tank into Leningrad, and also from Vyborg, we're going to be sending in that artillery. Then we have a tactical from Eastern Poland, which is going to go after those Russian units in Ukraine. And then we have a fighter. We have 2 fighters left. So we're going to be sending one. So I got to make sure I got all these marked. These are all coming from Eastern Poland. So our dive bombers have two movement left. The ones going in here have 3 movement left. I'm sending in a fighter to this area here, Bryansk. So I've got 2 movement left. And what does this leave us? We have 1 more fighter. So that fighter is going to go into Ukraine, and that'll have 2 movement left. Let's just make sure I moved everything that can reach. Oh yes, Estonia, Latvia, I'm sending in 1 infantry to take that. So that'll become German. That leaves 4 units in Lithuania. Let's just double check I've got all my fighters allocated. I've only got 1 dive bomber in here. Okay, I'm going to be setting this fighter up. So this fighter from West Germany, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to have 1 left. I need to mark that. So that's 1 left of that fighter. And I believe we've done all our battles. So let's start with the one in Leningrad. So I've got 3 dive bombers coming in against your 3 artillery. Let's see how well we can do against those. Maybe we won't have to set up the battle board. We'll see. So 3 dive bombers coming in. Dive bombers. Oh, just a minute. I almost forgot something. I have an amphibious landing. However, I think that's in the non-combat. So actually that's non-combat. Oh no, that's combat. So I'm going to be bringing in 1 infantry and 1 artillery from Berlin. This transport's going to move up. So there'll be another artillery and an infantry coming into Leningrad. I know I forgot something. Let me just make sure I change that out. So that leaves 3 infantry and 1 artillery. I think these were artillery in the original release of Global, so I'm using these as artillery. You can definitely see a difference between that and a regular anti-aircraft gun. It is an 88. Okay, so let's do our combats. So here we go, 3. And we get 1 hit. So that means we have to set it up in the battle board. So we've got 2 Russian 2 Russian artillery, and we've got 2 German infantry, 2 artillery, and 1 tank coming in. So we've already rolled for the lands, for the air. So now we're going to do the land. So that's 2 artillery, 2 infantry, and 1 tank, trying to get 2 hits. And we do get the 2 hits, so the Russians fire back, and they miss. So I guess the Luftwaffe must have demoralized them, even though they hardly hit them. So my blitz through Smolensk is 5 tanks and 2 infantry. Going after 1 Russian, so we'll put all that in 1. So this is the blitzkrieg. And devastating blitzkrieg move, and no hits from the Russians. So now we're going to do the one in Archangel. So in Archangel we have 1 Russian infantry, we have 1 tank against 2 German tanks and 2 mech unsupported. So we're going to do that. So 1 Russian, 2 tanks, and 2 unsupported mech, and I have to get 2 hits. And I get 1 hit. And now the Russians fire back. They have a tank and they get 1 hit back. So now 1 off the Russians and 1 off the Germans. So we'll continue the combat. So we have 2 German tanks and 1 mech. We get, oh my goodness, the mech gets the hit, and the Russians fire back, and the Russians miss. The next one we're going to do is Eastern Ukraine. Sorry, that's Western Ukraine. So I have a dive bomber coming in against your 1 artillery, and I do hit the 1 artillery. So there's 2 Russian infantry left. I've got a mech and 3 unsupported infantry, plus I have a fighter, and I have a tactical which is already fired against those 2 infantry. So my fighter plus 4 infantry, and I might as well do it all at the same time against the 2 Russian infantry. So we get 1 hit, and the Russians get 1 hit. So continuing on, so we lose 1, and the Russians lose 1. This time though, we get our tactical comes back, but of course less effective because it's used its surprise attack. And this time we kill the Russian infantry. So now we're going to do the one in Bryansk. We've got 1 Russian infantry. We've got a tank and a mech and a fighter. A tank, a mech, and a fighter. Oh, and 1 infantry. A tank, a mech. Let me get that on the board so I don't get confused. There we go. So there we go. So we got a tank. We've got a tank, a fighter, and then we've got 2 unsupported. There we go. I knew I had, thought I had 1 too many. Yes, this is in Bryansk. Okay, here we go. So we do get a hit, and the Russians fire back. I could have done that all at once, and the Russians miss. The last one is in Ukraine. Again, 1 Russian infantry. This time we have an artillery. So we've got a fighter. We've got an infantry supported with an artillery. And we've got 1 unsupported infantry against 1 Russian infantry. So that's 1 fighter, 1 infantry and artillery pair, and 1 unsupported, total of 4. Need to get 1 hit. Oh, the infantry came through with 1 hit. They get the fire back, and they get a hit as well. So that concludes all the combats. So that was in Ukraine. So now we're going to do the non-combat movement. Got to get a few flags here. So in Archangel, so we have a flag there. We've captured Archangel. We've captured Leningrad. Now we have, this massive group is going to be moving into Smolensk from Belarus. So I'll do a count of that in a minute. I'll put them all in the tin and then count them for you at my disposition, of course. We have down here we have Bryansk. We have Ukraine. And we have, I think that's Western Ukraine. Okay, so let's land our planes. So we can land in Belarus. So we're going to be landing some units in Belarus. So these fighter bombers, tacticals, are going to be moving into Belarus. I think you can see that. Along with the fighter from Bryansk. We had 1 fighter here that could only have 1 movement left. So we're going to move it in the marshes. A little bit marshy in there, but maybe we'll do okay. As well, we'll put the fighter bomber in the marshes, and then we have this fighter. It'll go in the marshes as well. So I think I've accounted for all my fighters and tacticals. Okay, and then other movement. Okay, so let's look at what we have in Paris. So what we're going to do is we're going to be moving, we're going to be sending 2 infantry, 2 German infantry into southern Italy. And we're also going to be moving this fighter, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm moving a fighter into Transjordan. I'm going to be moving 2 infantry from Western Germany into Paris. And then I've got these. Okay, so now I can move with this transport. I can send it was just 1 artillery there. So 1 artillery and 1 infantry into Leningrad. And then these are going to go 3, 1, 2, 3 into Pripyat marshes. Just get a unit there. And I have 3 artillery in Leningrad, so I'm just going to chip those out. Three artillery in Leningrad and 4 infantry. And then I can move these guys, but it's rail, so I can only go, they're going to be moving into, I'm going to leave 1 in Finland, 1 infantry in Finland, and move up that artillery. Okay, so now I've landed everything. Just want to make sure everything is where it should be. Okay, I want to move up my AA unit. So my AA is going to go into Ukraine. That AA unit. These fighters are all in the marshes. Okay, so let me place some units. So I've got 2 bombers. So one's going to go in Romania. I think you can see that. One is going to go in Romania, and the other one's going to go into Western Germany. I'm going to be putting a tank in Romania. And a tank into Western Germany. Two infantry in Romania. 2 infantry in Western Germany. You can actually put 4 infantry in Western Germany. And I'm going to put the 2 artillery in Western Germany as well. Just double checking everything. Okay, so let's do our disposition. So here, I'm moving my German U-boat into the A5, and I understand the Russian submarine is going to submerge, so they will not be able to attack our convoys going in. Okay, and I moved one out of, I moved 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay, so let's do our disposition. So we have 1 submarine in A5 looking for a Russian submarine. In Paris, we have 3 infantry, 1 mech, 1 artillery, 1 AA. Oops.